A forest fire rages near Deer Lake as the fire hazard rises around the region. Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo alongside Haley Perreault. Several new forest fires have broken out around the Northwest over the past 24 hours, and one of them is threatening Deer Lake First Nation.
Red Lake Fire 12 started right next to the remote community's airport yesterday morning and has already grown to more than 7,000 hectares in size. Meanwhile, the MNR has decided to expand the restricted fire zone as of midnight tonight to include the Thunder Bay area. Jonathan Wilson reports.
Cell phone video shot by residents of Deer Lake First Nation show the intensity of the fire that broke out Wednesday on the north side of the community. Some reports indicate it started in the community's landfill, which is adjacent to the Deer Lake Airport, and the flames quickly spread to the forested area along the edge of the airport, forcing it to be shut down. MNR Fire Information Officer Chris Marchand says the blaze, known as Red Lake 12, is a major cause for concern and prompted a large-scale response from their firefighting crews.
A fast-growing fire was reported near the airport just north of the community of Deer Lake. And CL-415 water bombers that were stationed in Red Lake were dispatched within minutes and worked to reduce that fire's intensity until dark. An air attack has already resumed again this morning on that fire, which is showing some very active fire behavior.
Marchand says fortunately the fire is burning in a northeasterly direction away from Deer Lake, but there are still concerns that if the wind shifts, it could pose a larger threat to the community. As a result, an evacuation of many residents has already begun using float planes and helicopters due to the closure of the airport.
In Deer Lake, Chief and Council have requested a Phase 1 evacuation of vulnerable persons, which begins today. Presently in the community, we have 5 fire ranger crews that are making some progress with suppression that's adjacent to the airport where the fire originated, on the edges of the fire that are nearest to the community, as well as protecting some infrastructure buildings around the airport with sprinkler systems. An additional 3 crews are inbound to Red Lake 12 this morning.
The fire hazard around the region is currently high to extreme, with little rain in sight. As a result, the MNR has announced that the restricted fire zone implemented in the western side of the region on May 16th has been expanded as of Friday morning to include the Thunder Bay, Upsala, and Armstrong areas, and east to the Nipigon River.
This change reflects the continued high to extreme fire hazard across the Northwest, as well as the significant fire activity that is affecting various communities and really engaging a lot of our available resources at the moment. It's important that we take measures to limit the potential for human-caused fires at this time. Many of the parts of the region have seen very little rainfall over the past month, and there's not a lot to look forward to in the forecast.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
The city of Thunder Bay marked a significant milestone today in the transformation of downtown Fort William.
A groundbreaking ceremony was held for the reimagined Victoriaville Project. Riley Cohen was on site and brings us this report.
So congratulations to all who had anything to do with this. This is a great moment for our community.
Mayor Ken Boshkoff is excited about this project that was approved by City Council in 2023. The 46-year-old roof at Victoriaville Centre will be removed in the months ahead, followed by the revitalization of Victoria and Syndicate Avenues into a modern, accessible, and vibrant public space. As chair of the Downtown Fort William Revitalization Committee, Stephen Marguerite highlights the significance of this initiative in shaping a renewed urban core.
We see this as a first step. We see this as a catalyst for change in the area. There's already new businesses moving into downtown Fort William. You're starting to see some of those changes. There's a lot of really exciting opportunities, and just listening to the work that the BIA does and some of those new businesses in there, it's encouraging.
The revitalization project will reopen Victoria Avenue to vehicles while integrating dedicated bike lanes, expanded sidewalks, and public plazas. Meanwhile, Syndicate Avenue will be reimagined with lush green spaces, some seating areas, and bigger walkways, with the hope of bringing new life to the downtown core and fostering a more vibrant, community-friendly environment.
This project began with business. It was sought by area businesses, so these buildings we're seeing that they're actually being purchased on speculation. Many buildings in this area have been recently purchased, and I think it's about with anticipation of what this area is going to be like in the future.
Construction is scheduled to begin in early June, starting with the installation of temporary access routes for affected businesses. This will be followed by the demolition of the mall structure. Throughout the process, all businesses will remain open, helping to ensure minimal disruption and a smoother transition for everyone involved.
We know that in the end result, it's going to function and benefit the area. It's going to be very beneficial to business. The traffic will flow. There'll be great amenities, so it's going to be very exciting when it's complete.
Riley Cohen, TBT News.
The debate over a controversial piece of legislation continued well into the evening at Queen's Park last night.
The province has agreed to make changes to Bill 5, which aims to fuel the economy through mineral and mining projects, but there are concerns about environmental and Indigenous rights. As CTV's Siobhan Morris tells us, critics say the amendments don't go far enough.
With its focus on speeding up mining under intense scrutiny, the government is highlighting a $500 million budget promise for a fund to process minerals.
It will build up our domestic processing capacity, ensure that the minerals mined in our province are processed and smelted right here by Ontario workers, for Ontario businesses, and for the world.
It comes amid ongoing debate on Bill 5, legislation that creates special economic zones where provincial and municipal laws can be waived. It's caused hurt and anger, especially among First Nations. The Minister of Energy and Mines insists partnership matters.
We understand the importance of consultation. We're committed to doing so, as we've announced, as we build out our regulations, which our action plan, the tactics of how we do this.
There were some bleary eyes in question period the morning after opposition MPPs stalled the bill at committee in a session that went until midnight.
And I didn't think that we would actually know that we would learn so much about sleep deprivation in real time while we were experiencing it. So, Speaker, will the Premier do the right thing, kill Bill 5, and just go back to the drawing board?
The government has promised not to declare the Ring of Fire a special economic zone before consultation, but they're not backing off.
First Nations are loud and clear. If the bill passes, First Nations and rights holders, they say there will be idle no more.
While the government says it's committed to listening, to dialogue.
But we also believe now's not the time to allow a system that is not working for Canada, it's not working for our workers, it's not in the interest of our economy. And what it does is it allows the environmental and human rights pariahs of the world to win the day.
The bill is expected to pass next week. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
And that wasn't the only big news out of Queen's Park today. The province is giving the Minister of Education far more power over school boards. Once again, here's CTV's Siobhan Morris.
The Minister of Education is giving himself sweeping new powers over school boards.
I am frankly as done as all parents are and teachers are with a school system that has turned into a political battle zone.
It comes after high-profile trips by some school board trustees and staff, including a $200,000 trek to Italy to buy art.
Teachers shouldn't have to be going to Dollarama to buy pencil cases or crayons for their classes.
Calandra says boards need to focus on sharing resources with teachers, and when they stray from that mission,
the government, the Ministry of Education, should take responsibility and should step up. This legislation allows us to do that.
The bill gives the government naming rights over schools and clears the way for the return of uniformed police officers in their hallways, a program the Toronto District School Board ended in 2017. If a local police service offers a school resource officer program, Calandra says boards will be forced to sign on.
It builds not only safety and security in a school, but also mutual respect.
Educators stress the practice ended for good reason.
Really, the policing of Black and racialized and marginalized students, funding we're spending on these resource officers, we could work on supporting those students within the schools.
The opposition calls out the elimination of choice.
Taking it away from parents and local communities, destroying local democracy.
Opposition MPPs want the government to refocus.
Fixing crumbling schools, making sure special education kids get the help that they need because they're not.
While there's a concession school boards need to be checked.
Now we're going to be really having a power grab over school boards, and it's a total distraction from what's needed in education.
The group that speaks for Ontario school boards makes that more explicit, writing in part, "We're always willing to engage in conversations about accountability. It would be helpful if these conversations included a discussion about the funding necessary to support students. Let us be clear, the real issue here is that the system is under financial strain. The Minister of Education says he's continuing to look at school board governance.
I have no interest in charter schools. I have no interest in abolishing a Catholic board.
But isn't closing the door to eliminating trustees.
And MPPs from all parties voted to give themselves a raise today for the first time since 2009. MPP salaries will jump nearly $41,000 from $116,000 to $157,000. The Premier will now make $282,000 and cabinet ministers will be paid $223,000. Here's the Minister of Finance.
It's fair and reasonable. It'll be at 75% of the federal compensation. It's still less than a Toronto City Councillor will be paid or a Mississauga City Councillor. And we're going to work tirelessly each and every day, sometimes in different ways, to help all Ontarians.
MPPs will also now be able to join and contribute to Ontario's public service pension plan for the first time since 1995. More than 1,000 Lakehead University graduates received their diplomas today as the school hosted its first two convocation ceremonies at the community auditorium.
Jessica Clement was at the first ceremony this morning, which celebrated the graduates from the faculties of Business, Engineering, and Law.
Thursday morning saw hundreds of Lakehead University graduates cross the stage to get their diplomas. LU President Jillian Siddall says it's a special moment for the school to celebrate all the students' hard work and achievements.
It's an incredible moment. I think none of us forgets this moment from when we had this wonderful day. It's a lot of work to get to this point. It's a lot of sacrifice, and to have it all come together and to celebrate it today is just a fabulous thing.
The graduates weren't the only ones celebrated during the ceremony. J.P. Gladue received an honorary doctorate of commerce. He's the founder of Mokwate, an Indigenous consulting firm based out of Sandpoint First Nation, and is a leader in Indigenous business and sustainable development.
Having a fantastic, prestigious university like LU to recognize the importance of this work, importance of the history and where we're going as a community, as a nation with the Indigenous people. It's a beautiful recognition, absolutely.
This was the first of 3 convocation ceremonies and included the Faculty of Business, the Faculty of Engineering, and the Faculty of Law. We spoke to some of the graduates who say they're excited to enter a new chapter in their life.
I'm pretty excited. It was a long and hard couple of months, and I'm so glad that it's over, and I'm looking forward to the opportunities in the future.
We've had our best moment, we've had our sad moment, and we are now proud to say that we are now graduates and everything has ended. So yeah, it's been good.
I have a target of going back to my home country to tackle the issue of small-scale mining in my country, Ghana. So I've acquired enough knowledge here which will help me to solve that issue when I get back home.
A lot of opportunities that you can try and see yourself out there. Like, it's really a good moment to be here today. I'm grateful.
Just under 2,000 students will receive their diplomas over the 2 days of ceremonies. The final convocation will take place Friday morning, celebrating graduates from the faculties of Natural Resource Management, Science and Environmental Studies, and Social Sciences and Humanities. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The senior class at Hammersh High School is presenting Dracula starting tonight. The thrilling stage production was adapted from Bram Stoker's classic novel. For some students, this marks their final high school drama performance and a memorable farewell as they prepare to graduate. In the classic tale, Count Dracula journeys from Transylvania to England, leaving a trail of terrors as he preys on the living. It's a chilling battle of good versus evil as a group of friends races to stop the vampire before darkness consumes them all. We spoke with the director and a few of the student actors, and they're very excited to see all their hard work come to life.
I am extremely excited. We've been working on this for about 3 months, so it's time for it to come to fruition and to see them on stage. In the past, we've kind of leaned into doing TYA shows, theater for young audiences, so this is different. We're trying something new.
Dracula is a classic tale. You know, this is Gothic horror. This is something everyone knows. This story has been told time and time again for years and years and years, and now it's our turn to tell that. So I think everyone should come see, because I think they should see how this tale has evolved.
Yeah, I think we have a really interesting story to show, and I think we put it together pretty well, so I think people should come see it.
There was a matinee performance for grade 7 and 8 students earlier today at the school, and there's another daytime show for Hammersh students in grade 9 tomorrow. The first performance for the general public goes tonight at 7 p.m. with another show tomorrow evening. Tickets are $15 at the door.
I love to see those high school students getting involved in the arts, and I'm sure that will be a great play. All right, well, let's turn our attention to the weather now. And Fiona, it's another day of above seasonal temperatures. On the one hand, it's very enjoyable, but of course we know about the fire situation to the west of us.
And it's already bringing air quality advisories across much of northwestern Ontario, especially to the west, but even here in Thunder Bay. The last few hours, we started out with tons of sunshine. Temperature-wise, we warmed up to 27 once again, but you might have noticed some clouds moving in, and not just the clouds, you might have smelled some smoke in the air, and that is because even in Thunder Bay, we are experiencing some local smoke. If we take a look at what's going on across the region at this time, as far as the actual sky, we've got sunshine in Fort Francis. They're at 25, 27 in Kenora, 25 in Red Lake, under mostly cloudy skies. But again, it's kind of hard to see the mostly cloudy conditions when it's the local smoke that everybody is dealing with. Now, it has been coming in from the northwest. It's expected to rotate a little bit, but the local smoke is affecting regions all the way through into Armstrong and Greenstone by tomorrow morning and along the lakeshore. Also of note is the cooler temperatures. Marathon and Wawa both at 11. That's because of the wind off the lake at this time, making it feel quite a bit cooler. Everywhere else in the 20s, with the exception of Sault Ste. Marie, they're already starting to see the cooler temperatures affect the eastern shores of Lake Superior. But this whole area is expected to be a little cooler tomorrow, but the heat will continue on closer you get to the Manitoba border. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to see partly cloudy skies and a low, well, that shouldn't be 7, that should actually be 14. So I'm gonna have to check, see if that has been updated. But it's going to be a mild low, partly cloudy skies, and there is a 30% chance of a shower or two in the overnight hours, which is not necessarily a bad thing for this time of year, but it might make for a little bit of a muggy night. But we are expecting more sunshine tomorrow and into the weekend. As you said, little opportunity for some of the much needed rain. Yeah. But again, when you've got smoke in the sky, can't really enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks a lot, Fiona.